Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the House Committee on Government Operations and Military Affairs. We are here this morning to pick up our conversation that began with the session on Friday, HR 11. So I want to welcome Jen Carby from Legislative Council, and she's prepared small amendment draft 1.1. So we'll maybe go over that and then take another walk through the resolution itself and then have a committee discussion.
Great. Well, good morning. Jen Carby, Legislative Council. So yes, I have brought a short amendment on HR 11. This is the House resolution relating to establishing the Special Committee on Impeachment Inquiry and granting it investigatory powers. And this would, in the second resolved clause, the one that authorizes the special committee to meet during the 2023-24 biennium, including during adjournment thereof, it would add right after that, and during adjournment thereof, it would add shall adopt rules of procedure, and then it would continue on to and shall report to the House of Representatives the special committee deems proper. So this would add specifically a requirement and authority to adopt rules of procedure, which is where some of the things that we talked about on Friday, like setting the evidentiary standard that the special committee would use, would likely happen. And this is just to add to that, this is language that's consistent with what we often do when creating legislative committees, not necessarily through rules, but the ones in statute have the authority to adopt rules of procedure.
This is in the middle of the third resolved clause.
This is the middle of the second one, the longer one. I guess it.
We are resolved by the House of Representatives.
I know, I described it as the third one, but now I'm realizing it's sort of is the second one. I think it is the third one.
Yeah, I think you're both right.
Yeah.
The committee, that seems.
I think it's the third one. I think I'm going to change it to the third one because the first one ends with and be it further, and then I would say you get to the second one about composition, and then be it further, and you get to the third one where we are. So I think that is a good correction.
The special committee is authorized to meet. So it'll read, after adjournment thereof, shall adopt rules of procedure, comma, and shall report to the House of Representatives.
Exactly.
Well, I think it is the second one. But if you read it, the first, it's like a subset of resolutions.
So resolves.
Resolves.
Each one ends with and be it further.
They do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that would be the result. Okay.
We've all been on a journey here about the structure of the resolution.
Well, I don't draft many of them either, so good for me to learn.
Is everybody comfortable with the amendment?
Yes.
Yeah, it's clear.
And sending the updated version to Andrea, she can.
We'll have a chance to read the final version.
Yeah, we're gonna go
go
through with Jen walking us through a line by line of the whole thing. Absolutely.
Well, you never know.
I just said that we would do that.
Vermont saves quite briskly. At least we're going to do it twice.
No, we're getting to the end of the session. Keep everybody.
From a historical perspective, I think we should print one off to everybody sign and put it on the wall.
It's probably how they did it.
Jen, were you saying that you had put together just a clean draft of the amendment or a whole, or a?
Just a clean draft of the amendment, right? Just so that it says third result clause.
So we should move to the as introduced, and then when we get to the point that has the amendment.
Yes, I mean, we can do a strike all, but it seemed first blush excessive for the small addition. Thank you.
And so when you're ready, why don't we go back?
Okay.
Every day.
Do you want me to read the new piece into it?
Can you keep the chatter down? Like, this is very, very important, and side conversations are really not appropriate. Just. I heard.
You want me to read the new language in where it would go?
Yes, please.
So in full, the resolution would read, whereas the results of an independent investigation completed in April 2023 substantiated allegations that Franklin County State's Attorney John Lavoie has engaged in a pattern of harassment and discriminatory conduct toward his employees and others. And whereas recent concerns regarding financial improprieties in office have been raised regarding Franklin County Sheriff John Grismore, who was previously captured on while a captain in the Franklin County Sheriff's Department, kicking a handcuffed prisoner who was being held by the department. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives that the Special Committee on Impeachment Inquiry is established to investigate whether sufficient grounds exist for the House of Representatives to exercise its constitutional power to impeach Franklin County State's Attorney John Lavoie or Franklin County Sheriff John Grismore, or both. And be it further resolved that the special committee be composed of 7 members of the House of Representatives, not all from the same political party, who shall be appointed by the Speaker of the House. And be it further resolved, the special committee is authorized to meet during the 2023-2024 biennium, including during adjournment thereof. We would add, shall adopt rules of procedure and shall report to the House of Representatives such resolutions, articles of impeachment, or other recommendations as the special committee deems proper. And be it further resolved that the special committee is authorized to require, by subpoena or otherwise, the attendance and testimony of any person and the production of documents and other items of any kind. And be it further resolved that the special committee or any member so designated by the special committee may administer oaths or affirmations to any witness, and be it further resolved that the special committee may hire investigators and may request assistance from other governmental entities as needed to assist the special committee in conducting its investigations.
Anybody have questions about the words on the page? Representative Chason, then I'll go to you, Representative Hoover.
The last resolved where it says may request assistance from other governmental entities, it doesn't say they're required to provide it.
Because I'm not sure you can, as the House of Representatives, I'm not sure you can require an executive or judicial entity to provide you with assistance. So you'll have assistance from your staff, and we may reach out to others, but I don't know that the House can compel assistance from executive branch entities or judicial branch entities without going through the full law enactment process.
Thank you. Representative.
Is there a reason that in the second whereas dealing with Grismore that you specifically say kicking a handcuffed prisoner rather than battery, or?
I think I was describing the conduct as opposed to what the charge has been. He has not been convicted. So I think it would be premature to ascribe a criminal act.
So under the rules of procedure that are being allowed, is that where we could also consider a special session and what limits there would be on that special session?
No, I think that would have to come through the adjournment resolution.
Okay.
That would have to be an agreement between the House and Senate about coming back. And I did talk to the clerk briefly about the question you had raised on Friday about whether the scope could be limited. I think the answer is maybe. I think she's still looking into it, so we'd want to get some information from Betsy Ann, but I don't think that the special committee could dictate what the scope of the session would be or when it would be.
Representative Henry.
Thank you. So not having been here Friday, and I apologize for that, I did not hear any of the discussion. I did try to tune in, but the live stream kept going off. So, the question about the adjournment session was likely, could other items be brought up of concern to the legislature during that time? And your answer is that they are looking into that.
Right, the clerk is looking into that. I'd be happy to follow up with her this morning and see if she has more information, but I don't know that she was convinced that it would be binding were you to limit.
I guess for me, I really need to know that before I can.
I was just going to say that.
Before I can sign off on this whole process. The real concern for me, if we could come back here as required, or possibly required, and take up a lot more than this. So it's happened.
So that's a conversation for the adjournment resolution to have with leadership. That is not a conversation that, I mean, this resolution is about empowering a special committee to meet in the off session. It doesn't say we're coming back. It doesn't say we're not coming back. It just sets up the special committee. So I really hope that we're not going to hold up the process for standing up this incredibly important special committee because we're concerned about the potential of whether or not the adjournment resolution will include something. So I really hope that that's not where we're at today. Representative Randall.
This is not the first time, but this is probably the second time I've read this resolution because I was away all weekend and wasn't able to access time issues. So in the 1, 2, 3, third resolved, it says, including during adjournment thereof. And I think that's that we are authorized to meet during the biennium, including during adjournment thereof. And I think that's where Representative Higley's concern comes in, and now reading this, my concern as well. Because if you recall, during COVID, we came back for COVID-related reasons, but we took up a whole bunch of other things that weren't really COVID-related during that session, that special session. So I think that's my concern, and I have not talked to Representative Higley about this at all, but our minds.
To clarify on the language, it's that the adjournment piece is in the resolution is specifically authorizing the special committee to meet during the adjournment of the 2024 session.
Okay,
But
not the whole legislature.
Right, but separately, there is a discussion
Yeah,
about
okay.
adjournment to a date before January to address the
Okay.
recommendations or the articles of impeachment.
Perfect, thank you.
I just want to get on the record here while we're talking about process for a moment, that I wanted everyone to have the whole weekend, including yesterday, to take a look at this language. So the reason I scheduled it today was to give everyone time to take a look at it. I think there has been significant discussion in this committee about the need to understand better what happened in especially the Sheriff Grismore's case and get access to information and understanding of that situation that we just don't have the power to do without standing up the special committee. This resolution does not address whether or not there will even be articles of impeachment. It simply empowers a special committee to do the investigation. It doesn't address, it could very well be that the special committee meets, takes testimony, that has no serious findings and decides to end its work and there's no need to come back. What would compel us to come back would be if articles are drafted and if the bodies and, potentially, in consultation with other branches of government, think it's urgent enough to do that. And I think that that's so serious if we do ever get to that point, that the kind of partisan political considerations about what may or may not be taken up are valid, but they're not the crux of this resolution. This resolution doesn't even contemplate both bodies returning unless they decide to return outside of the normal course of our business together. The only thing that this does in relationship to adjournment, unless Ms. Carby corrects me, is that it allows the special committee to meet during the adjournment of the bodies. Representative Hango.
Thank you. I have a question that may have been addressed on Friday, and I apologize if it was. But do we have any additional documents other than the redacted report that we got on State's Attorney Lavoy? Do we have any additional documents that are available to us to sort of give us the reason for having this resolution drawn up? And by that, I mean, other than news reports, I have read nothing official of Mr. Grismore.
So Representative Hango, I provided the legislature provided both the House Judiciary and Government Operations Committee on our page on Friday morning, affidavit related to Grismore, a number of different documents that have been available since Thursday.
I apologize.
I mean, I'm really
sorry.
I just, for something that is, that has this much gravity, I just really, I think those documents are available.
Okay, great.
On our website.
Clearly, I did not do my homework, but I didn't know that I had homework to do, and that is on me. I'm very sorry about that. But I had a family thing that I had to do all weekend, so.
Totally understand.
Yeah, thank you so much.
If I could, and I think it's recorded, Betsy Ann did an incredible job, as she usually does when she explains things. If you want to check out her video on this, I think that could be helpful.
Thank you. As I said, while I was sitting at the airport, I was trying to connect to the live stream.
Sure.
And it kept
Well, I think it's
cutting
recorded.
off because of the Wi-Fi access. And I was trying to watch for the first hour of it. And
Yeah.
Rep. Morgan can attest to that because
Sure.
I texted him that
Yeah.
I was having difficulty listening in.
Yeah.
And then I had no additional time.
Yeah.
Still have not. Thank you. So I will look at the documents.
Representative Fuller.
Mr. Chair, do you suppose that we could sort of incorporate some time for Representative Hango to kind of familiarize herself with this and do something different until that happens, or no? This morning,
I don't want anyone to take a position on this resolution without having read it and read the documents. So what I'm now hearing from the committee is that we will have to take a position on this when we return after lunch. I highly recommend that folks use the time between now and then to familiarize themselves with the documents that were presented on Friday and to read this resolution very thoroughly. So that's a good suggestion, Representative. We'll take a little more time on this and take a position on it later today. But we are going to take a position on this today.
got it. Thank you.
All right. Are there any other questions? So now that we know that we'll have a little more time on this, since folks need a little bit more time, are there any questions for Jen while we have her here on this before we move on to our other topic for the morning? Okay, great. We'll return to this immediately when we come back after the lunch break and caucuses.
Yep. 1 o'clock?
Have you ever written a subpoena?
First time for everything.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. When do we have Tucker? Okay, great. So committee, we're just going to take a 10-minute break. I'll see you all back here